start. There's the guys that I'm working with, they're building a 54 apartments building in Puerto Vallarta now, so that's going to be our first customer. And mainly we're going to be using melamines, no wood at all, so just materials that are already finished. We're planning to use the Bloom accessories for everything. So, and we bought a CNC, automatic CNC from Styles. So I think that you already know that, and some some other machines. So the main reason that I want to learn to use this is to create the designs for the cabinets and throw them directly to the machine, and that the productions flows.
That's awesome. Quick follow-up question. The CNC you bought, is that to do nesting, or is it are parts cut first?
I think it's nesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Well, let's start off with some really kind of basic, easy to understand, so that maybe we draw some walls, place some cabinets, generate the shop drawings, submittal kinds of things, plan elevation section, and then let's send it out to the machine and see it nested and MPR files generated for your CNC, and then we can circle back around and see if there's more detail or those kind of things you might want to see. So
great.
If you notice in my interface, I have a number of different tabs: system room, data, article designer, object designer, keeps going. I'm just going to start off in room. Lots of our customers need to be able to do layouts, being able to draw walls, insert doors, windows, roofs, whatever. Here I'm just going to tell it that I want to begin by generating walls. Of course, you can set wall height or thickness. I have to admit, Diego, I demonstrate often in Imperial, and so obviously the system can be set for metric or Imperial, either one that you want.
Okay, great.
So I'm just going to say okay to this, and I'm going to start building walls. So here in the AutoCAD environment, if you notice down on the command line of AutoCAD, it's saying pick a start point, so I'm going to. And so it's automatically drawing for me three-dimensional objects, so I can start placing walls in any direction I want. Let's add another one at 124. So I could just keep building walls all day long, continue. In AutoCAD, double enter, and that evokes the command for it. So now we've created our wall for this purpose. When we deliver the software, we deliver it with databases of cabinetry and categories to be able to get you well started, and those are very easy to modify and change for your construction methodologies. I'm just going to open one up, and so in this frameless library you'll see that there's also categories of base and corner and countertop, door drawers, drawer banks, on and on. So if you pop one of those open, then you see all of the parametric objects inside of those. We call those articles instead of just cabinets, because in WoodCAD CAM, whether it's closets or fixtures or cabinets or whatever it is you need to do, the software can handle it. So I'm just going to select on one, for example, a two-door base. Here on the command line is saying select a reference element. So I could place it out in space, or I do have the reference of a wall. When I select something like that, notice the ghosting image that it automatically gives me to be able to easily place it at any position on the wall, and or to be able to even change the orientation point or the insert point of any of those objects. If I move past that wall, notice that it takes care of all of the rotation and orientation for those objects as well. So let's just take this, and I'm going to tell this I want to put in multiple of the same cabinet. So now I have a two-door base drawn in 3D. I'm going to tell it which side of the selected object that I want it placed on. So it could be behind, in front, above, below, left, or in this case, right. So now if we zoom in, we'll see that we have two of these 3D objects already created. I'm going to go ahead and tell this that I would like to add, for example, a two-door upper. Here, even more choices, not only left or right, but also its position, I'm going to tell it I want it referenced at the back, so it's going to protrude forward because it's a deeper cabinet than the others. Let's go to the upper for a moment, and I'm going to select the wall as a reference and set my distance off the floor. And again, we're placing cabinets and those kind of things. This is a very simple design, but I think for a first pass-through of understanding how you can do layout, whether it's countertops, moldings, cabinets, whatever it is. From here, I'm going to move to the tab for drawing views, and I'm going to say, please generate a 2D plan view for me. So while we have the ability to do full renderings and all that kind of stuff automatically, we're also giving you high quality, detailed shop drawings or architectural submittals, as our customers often refer to them as. And so I'll go ahead and tell this that I want to generate an elevation view, tell it which direction I want the symbol to be pointing at. And so now I have generated the elevation views. Notice the door swings, hidden lines, all that kind of stuff are all done for us. From here, I'm going to tell this that I want to be able to generate a cross section, and I'm going to select the objects that I want included in the cross section. I'm going to define the cutting line and the side that I want it to be looking from. So I'm going to tell it that I want it to be looking at it from this side, and I'm going to label that section A-A, and the system is going to automatically generate this section for me. One of the beauties of this is that these 2D drawings, notice the detail as we zoom in even to the section. You can even review the materials. You see all the edge bands, the hardware, all that kind of stuff for it. These 2D drawings are linked precisely to the 3D model. So if we make any modifications to the 3D model, the 2D drawings are automatically updated as well. I just told us that we wanted to go ahead and start dimensioning process. So we've dimensioned now the section, the elevation, and the plan. I'm going to tell this that I'd like to load an AutoCAD border, and so now we've got paper space kind of views for this. Just going to zoom in on a viewport, and here I'm going to tell it that I want to link a view and that I only want the elevation in this view. I'm going to tell it that I want to link this one, and I'm going to tell this that I only want the plan in this view. Do this, throw the sectional view in it. Maybe we want the 3D or whatever it is that you want your drawings to look like. The purpose of this, your drawing style, your line types, your title blocks, all of that kind of stuff is relevant to what you want. So it's easy for you to get the kind and the quality of drawings that you would expect to get out. Does that part make sense so far?
Yes. Yes, I think that our production is going to be more like custom made.
Yes.
Not going just with the pre-chart designs that the software has, but yeah, it's awesome what you can do so easily and so fast.
Yeah, I'll after I take you through the first of this, if you'd like, I'll show you how to build custom stuff from scratch.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fast to be able to do this. So I'm going to go back to the model for a moment, and of course, any way that you want to be looking at this, sometimes you may have a reason to be able to see it in different kind of views. It's AutoCAD, and so if you want to be able to take it and you want to move into perspective kind of views, and you want to be able to look at it from different ways. We were just in a wireframe, but you want to start seeing realistic, or you want to even generate rendering files and that kind of stuff. I didn't set this as a real high quality just so we wouldn't take a bunch of time today, but it gives you the complete abilities to do all of those things, including video walkthroughs or whatever it is that you might need as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Very good. I'll flip this back over to here, and I'm going to just tell this that I want to save this order. And I'm just going to call this Diego, and I'm going to tell it to automatically generate the appropriate programs and to create what I'm going to call a transfer file to Cutrite. When nesting or panel optimization is involved, we use Cutrite to do those things. It's got a incredibly powerful panel optimization algorithm, but it also does incredible work for true shape nesting applications. So we have now created all that we need to go to manufacturing. So I'll open up Cutrite so you can see it from that side. And what I'm going to do is just say that I want to import some parts. And I'm going to go select this file called Diego. And I'm going to tell it to bring in all of my cut parts. And it can even do grain matching and all that kind of stuff. When we have it here and available for us to be able to work with, we can control what might be going to nesting, what might be going to optimization. We could edit and work with materials, whatever it is that you might want to be able to do. Once we're happy with the cut list for it, we're just able to save this and to calculate, in this particular case, what it is that's going to be happening. And so now we have results that are available for us to be able to see for patterns and all of these kinds of things. So we see all of the machining and all that kind of stuff is completely done and created. If you'd like off-all and scrap management, all of those kinds of things are available to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
so
it looks pretty easy to do.
Yeah, there's technically a last button that you push called NPR out, and that generates the NPR files for your machine. So I think that hopefully in the demonstration you see that there's not a lot of steps to go from, design to directly to the floor.
Yeah, that looks great. About I think you're gonna tell me later, but about the joints and everything, then you can program it directly in the Cutrite program or in the other one.
Yeah, we're going to do all of that kind of work in WoodCAD CAM so that technically Cutrite is just receiving the output from WoodCAD CAM and doing what was
generates the code.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to close down the Cutrite interface here.
And the Cutrite interface comes with the software, or do I have to download it from another site?
It's in the bundle that we're selling.
Okay, great.
Perfect. So while we're here, maybe we ought to just make some things from scratch so that you can see a little bit more custom how I would make something. So I'm just going to say I want to make a new article, just no parts, no nothing. And so I'm going to start by defining some certain things, like let's say I want it to be 60 inches high, let's say I want it to be 36 inches wide and maybe 23.5 deep. So I'm just creating this cube. In the left-hand upper corner, you'll see that there's a face for each edge within this. So if I clicked on one, it would make it obvious what it is, but there's also icons to be able to show you easily. I'm going to double-click into it and add parts to this. And so in doing so, I'm able to add the parts that I want to have. So I have two sides, a top, a bottom, and a back. I've left the front empty, and now I'm going to tell it that I'd like to be able to divide it up in some kind of a way. I'm going to tell this that I'd like to start off by dividing it vertically. So as easy as me giving it a dimension or ratio, in this case I gave it a ratio of 1:1, so that means that this shelf is going to always be fixed in the middle no matter what height I change the object to. That's what it does. I could even make multiple divisions within it to do the same thing, and or I have the ability to use numerical values. Like in this case, I set this bottom section to be at 15 inches and this one to have a 1:1 ratio of the remaining space. So really easy to do stuff. You can also work graphically inside of it. So if I select on an area, maybe I want to do something like, hey, I want to add 2 drawers in this case to this section. I want to come into this area and I want to divide it, for example, horizontally. I'll tell it I want a partition, and I'll just say 14 I:1. So I fixed that at 15 inches from the edge.
Sorry, guys.
And so I can work, within these views. So now that I've created more spaces, you see that I have more faces to work with. So I'll select on that front face. I'm going to tell this that I want it to be a door and I want it to be hinged on the left-hand side so I can see how those kinds of things work. Let's just take one last area here and say that I want to throw an adjustable shelf into this particular space. And so now I'm going to tell this that I'm ready to use it, and it will prompt me if I want to be able to save this. I'm going to tell it that I want to add it to my library just so that you can see how easy it would be. And I'm going to call this Diego. You can add description, whatever you want. So now it's saved to my library and it's fully parametric, but I also have the ability to add it to this project. And so now we can take a little peek at this object. And so let's turn this around and get to where we want to see it. And so just one second. So now we can see the way that it's made and all that kind of good stuff for it. And so, it's got all the doors and drawer slides and all that kind of stuff for it. Let's start talking about joints and joinery and all kinds of those things. I can work at various levels. Let's start working at edge levels and say, hey, maybe I want to affect this joint, which involves these two edges. I'm going to tell this that in this case, I want to be able to change it, and maybe I want to make it mitered, or in this case, I'm going to tell it to be onset, so that you'll see that the software was smart enough to shrink the side, to make the top longer, to change the machining from horizontal to vertical. So you can do a lot of things with it. I'll even tell this that I want to extend this a couple of inches past. Maybe we want to even be able to change shapes of edges. Listen, I want to make this into an arc and control a second point. And so we'll come in here and say, go to there. So now if I wanted, I could literally take this and to be able to say, I want to move that edge all the way out to the shape of this polyline. And so that kind of thing becomes really easy as well. While I'm here, I'm just going to draw, in this case, a circle, just so we've got a little shape about that big. And we'll tell this, again, that we want to look at this guy. And so now if I wanted, I could work at a part level as an example and say, I want to take this part, I want to take this part, and this part. And I want, in these particular cases, to transfer the AutoCAD object that I created into actual machining. Maybe you've got pipe chase or something that's running through those parts. And so now they're fully machined as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Looks pretty easy when you know the right things to do.
You got to know which buttons to push for sure. Let's do another example that I think would be good. I'm just going to draw in AutoCAD. I'm going to tell this that I want to go up like 30, and I'm going to tell this that I want to come over 15, up 15, over 15, down 45, and I'll tell this to close. So the only thing that I've done, Diego, is create a polyline object, right? So that's it. I can use this software and tell this that I want to turn that AutoCAD object into an article. I could tell it that this was the plan view or top of something. I could say that it was the side of something. In this case, I'm going to tell it that I want it to be the front side of what I'm creating. So now I have a way to do similar to what we did before. I'll show you a little bit different in this, but similar in the workings for it, and makes it really easy to be able to do whatever it is that we might want in this particular case. And I'll tell this to want to partition, and I'll just tell this 12 inches equal 1. So now I've even taken an offset of space for this. I'll tell this that I want to put 3 drawers into this section. Notice this area, and if I move this around, you'll see, Diego, that it's not even a rectangle, but the software is really smart, so I could say, hey, I want to add some adjustable shelves. I don't have to type in all the linear divisions if I've already got some. And notice that it was even smart enough to know what size that the adjustable shelves needed to be for all of those areas. I'll take this and say, hey, I don't need to save it to my library, but I want to use it in this project. And so now I have this 3D object that's here and available for us to work with. I have lots of other controls over it. I could even work at the article level and say, hey, I even want to change and modify the original AutoCAD contour of this. I'm going to tell this that I want to stretch this up in a different angle, whatever it is. It will rebuild the object based on those things. From a little bit underneath the hood level, we have also developed and created both order and article related variables. So when we start talking about construction and that kind of stuff, if I wanted to do a setup for this and I wanted to change my materials and maybe my case parts and all that kind of stuff, it's really easy for me to be able to set and to be able to change and say, hey, this is going to be a PL1 or a PL2 or whatever it is that we might want to set materials for all the different parts. Even construction methodology, we're talking about joints and stuff. You know, like if I wanted to come into joint method and say, well, I want this to be dowels or I want it to be screws or cams or dados or whatever I want to do, if I click those buttons, then whatever I'm building now behaves to the ways that we want it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to pause again and let you tell me what it is that you might need to see or understand to determine if WoodCAD CAM might be the right solution for your company.
Well, we have some finishing issues here in Mexico because people don't want like the plain front of these cabinets, for example. They don't want it to be 15 millimeters width. So they wanted to have a front of 4 centimeters, for example, and there's some customizations, things that we're going to have to adjust at the end here for the final products. I think that I will have to learn how to do those and how to join them to the finished product, but mostly I think what you're showing me right now is exactly what we're going to do. I mean, the drawers, maybe you can adjust the height of the drawers, right? And you can adjust what else, the slides that you're using and everything. Joseph told me that there's a base where you can see everything about the slides and about the tools that we will use from Bloom, for example. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, mostly it's gonna be some adjusting of the finished product that I'm gonna have to be working.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I showed you that there was some article related or some order related variables, but I also have the ability to work down at an article level. So if I came in and said, hey, I want to modify just this one article and I want to come into it, and in the case I wanted to change the front model, and so in this case let's just say that I want to go to an aluminum front, I want to you know, an arch, whatever. I'll just tell this that I want to turn this into a shaker style door. It will even not only change it in this on this particular article, but it even updated all of the 2D drawings and stuff for it, so you can have whatever kinds of setups and that kind of stuff that you're looking for in order for it to really, really function well, you know, really good performance for you.
Yes, because it's super flexible. I mean, the interest part is to learn how to use it 100%.
Yes, of course, and you know, you would imagine that that's something that we have to deal with every customer. We have a very good, what I believe is an educational program for getting people capable of that. Basically starts with making sure that we get you installed in a atmosphere that is very stable and good. And if you don't have AutoCAD experience, we have some lessons for you to work on in AutoCAD. Once we're good there, then it goes through what we call like a university style 101, which is 3 hours per day online, 5 days consecutive in a week. And at the end of that 101 training, there is a homework assignment given to basically start, doing some small projects. You get kind of a week of playtime, and then we move into 201 level that is just relative to your company. And with one of our techs, usually again online for 3 hours a day, 5 sessions. And then from there, usually we come on site and do more of an advanced level and make sure that everything's integrated to your machines and ready to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that I'm going to speak with my colleagues here because as soon as we start with this course, it's going to be the best because we're planning to start maybe this month with the factory. So
good.
We have to hurry up. And what you're showing me, Joseph told me something about models and that this is like a base version of the software, and then you can like grow it to your needs as the factory grows or the needs grows. But with this that you're showing me is what I'm getting, right? Like the base version of the software.
Yeah, what I'm showing you today is exactly what you'll get.
Okay. Yeah.
There are some advanced things that you can do into the future, but this is what you're getting in the bundle that Roger was referring to.
Okay. I think it's more than enough for what we're doing. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to learn how to use it. About cabinets that are open, for example, for hanging your clothes. Can you also do this front, that you draw right here at the doors at the bottom? Can you do it also with an open cabinet? Like to have a more thicker front of the cabinet? Like if you could see a frame around the cabinet and then the doors inside of this frame. Can you do that?
Got you. Okay, let me show you what I think that we're referring to. Let's just go make a new article real fast. Very good. So I'm just going to add some, let's make this a little bit more in relation here.
Okay.
I'm just going to take this and I'm going to move over into this and say I want on my top, my left, my bottom, and my right, I want to be able to select this and this and this and this. So if you would see, I can start building however it is that I want these things and objects to be working on. And then I can also even be clicking into these to be able to make an adjustment to how you want the joint to be. So you'll see I can have it set so that we're trimming this direction or this direction, whatever it is that you want to be able to do. And then when you add doors into that, those can either be overlay or inset doors.
Okay. And when you do the inset doors, does it also creates like a filling for the how do you call this? Wait a second.
Filling.
Yeah, maybe he's talking about the gap between the two doors.
The hinge, for the hinges.
Yeah, so when you're designing a door, it is looking to the gaps that are appropriate for the individual hinge that's being used. Yeah. So you could have, for example, this one shaker style door, and you could tell that door that it could either behave as an inset or an overlay door. You could also give it options so that it can use a variety of hinges. And when you select, for example, a Bloom 32 millimeter hinge, Euro style, whatever, it adjusts and makes the appropriate gaps for that hardware and follows the reveals that you want between, above, and below the doors.
Yes, but like the drawing that you just made, if you have a frame around the doors, then you're going to have like a hole for the hinges that you have to fill. Does this hole gets automatically filled with the software, or you have to design some other parts so the hinges go into this new filling? Are you following or not? The thing is, what I'm thinking is that we're going to be building frames around the doors and around the front cabinets. You know, it's not going to be just like you're not going to see like the first drawing that you do with the cabinets. You're not going to see the doors, only the doors. You're going to see a frame and a door inside.
Okay. So
hinges to be installed. Does it make it automatically, or I have to draw it myself?
I wish I understood what you were meaning by that. I'm going to draw an object for you and see if this helps.
It's just that I'm thinking about what we're going to be building, and it's a little bit more complicated about this. Okay.
So this is just from our library. So in this case, it's using blocking. As you'll see, it's got a face frame that goes all around the front of the cabinets, and then the doors are inset of that face frame. If you can see the way that that's working, I'm going to change this to a view here that just is kind of a conceptual, so you can see. So it either can be an overlay like this is, or it can be an inset inside of the frame.
Oh, the frame outside the cabinet, not inside. So it goes a little bit outside at the corner, at the top left front corner. You can see that the front is coming out. It's not aligned with the cabinet. Okay. I'm understanding now how to do it. It's just that we do it differently now, so that's how we will have to do it.
If you wanted, this object could be, let's do this for a second, just so that you're seeing what I'm talking about. But anyway, you could have this so that if you wanted, this frame could be inside of the cabinet, then the door inside of the inside frame. The frame doesn't have to be out on the front. It can be inside of it if that's what you choose.
Yeah. But if you move it so it ends aligned with the main cabinet, then you're gonna have a hole. Do you understand that? For the hinges, there's gonna be a hole that's gonna have to be filled. Okay.
No, that's the one thing that I'm not understanding. Do you have a drawing or something that you can show me?
Can you move the part that you just select so it's aligned with the main cabinet, the outside part of the frame that you selected? Can you move it to be that part? Can you? Yeah, there.
You want to be able to move it to this position?
Yeah.
Okay, the way that this one was built, it was done intentionally that way so that in this cabinet construction methodology, they had a thin side, and then they would have a finished panel that would go on the outside of it so that this would be flush.
And I think that that would be the easiest way to do it. So don't worry about my question. I think I'm gonna take what you're showing me and do it like that and stop like complicating myself with technicalities.
Well, the software can do whatever it is that you want. Part of this process will be that we're learning what you want to accomplish. You're learning how the software works, and before we're done, then you'll have a database of your objects that do it the way that you want it to be done.
Yeah, but that looks okay. I mean, I think we're gonna do it this way, so it's not gonna be more complicated than it already is,
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna use what I'm seeing now. It looks great, Shawn. I mean, it's a great software, and I'm willing to learn to use it. Right now, what I use is SketchUp software, so you can imagine that I can upgrade a lot myself.
Yeah, for sure, especially when you want to get to having something that can not only do the design and or the engineering of custom one-offs, but that you want it to generate all of the manufacturing data for you as well.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
well, good. Well, if you think of any other things or whatever, let us know. We can jump back online. We'll help you in any way.
Thank you, Shawn. One last question. Can you send me a proposal of how much is going to be costing this software? How does it get paid? Everything that I need to know in preparation of getting it, so I can talk to my folks and, well, not my folks, my partners, and tell them that we're going to have to pay this and it's going to be like this.
Yeah, for sure. Roger will be glad to do that. Some things, bits of information that we need from you.
Okay.
Number one would be the number of users that you would need. Do we need more than one?
I've already got that, Shawn. There's one user.
One user. I'm the main user, and maybe, yeah, I think one user is going to be more than enough. Do you have to pay extra for new users, or can you just add them later?
You can add them later.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, one user is okay.
By the way, Diego, I have recorded this this session, and I will send you a copy of the this session. I'm going to stop recording right now.